not quite sure what's happening here actually, because it never happens. Yeah, I think something from live loop is echoing. Yeah.
Something is echoing.
Yeah, something from live loop is looping. Yeah. I can still hear myself talking like 30 seconds ago. Huh? So what do we do? Music was going in a loop in a strange way. Yeah. Okay, we carry on. I hope it was clear. So this is this is a contemporary orchestra called La Juan D'Arienzo, obviously named after Enzo. And this is a famous song, Loca, that all of you have heard before. And I hope it was clear that all the 4 beats are equally strong. This is a typical Musicality in 4 orchestra. It's a modern version of it. So that part is clear? Yeah, something is looping the sound. Yeah, it's delayed quite long. It's not my fault. Yeah. Something is feeding my voice from 20 seconds ago into.
Could it be that you have the YouTube open yet?
But yeah.
No, not on your phone, on the laptop. No.
My laptop is also open, so. Yeah, Safari I have so, but it's not playing. So you did.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry, that was me. Oh, okay. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I was. Okay. So that was Musicality in 4, a contemporary orchestra in this style. Let me just play it again at the very start, and I'm going to count the beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to play another very short clip. And this time, it's another contemporary orchestra called Auroville Tango. It's named after Di Sarli, the Signor de Tango. And this recording quality is not very good, but I wanted to play this partly because this old guy is Podesta. It's the Podesta. The Podesta that we hear in recordings. This song was recorded originally with Di Sarli, I think 1944. And this is 2013. And he is near 90 at this point. Obviously, the voice is breaking everything. But it's a short clip. I want to play this. And please pay attention to the beat. This is Di Sarli. It's lower, melodical, and the beats are like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right?
Hermoso, por cierto, su letra y su música. La capilla de
I hope you like the videos. The idea was the marcato in 4 equal beats, all 4 beats style orchestral after D'Arienzo. Like Pisani style. That was also an introduction, and we already went through what we are going to do today. We are going to talk about the rhythmic bass in all 4 beats, using 2 of the beats, and syncopation. So now we will start on actually something not exactly rhythmic bass, but a song that everybody knows, Poema. And okay, I'll play a little bit. For this kind of music, first pay attention to the beat. It's very regular, all 4 beats are there, right? Clearly all the 4 beats.
So one of the reasons that we wanted to bring this up, this story of the marcato in 2 and marcato in 4, is because a lot of the time, okay, when we're listening to tango music, we keep talking about being on the music. Now, what does that mean, right? And one of the aspects that we see often, perhaps it's because there's a habit of teachers in classes to mark the beat, usually on 1 and 3, which works for a marcato in 2 when the 1 and 3 are really accentuated. But a lot of tango music, actually the 1 and 2 are not necessarily accentuated. Okay? So every beat has the same value. So for example, with a song like Poema, that we're going to play with a little bit now, each of the beats have the same value of the 4 beats. So what we're going to play on instead is going to be really the melody, a lot of the time. The melodic melody and the rhythmic melody. Okay?
Wanna start? Yeah. Okay. And not just Poema. A lot of songs, especially earlier songs, I'll just play the first few seconds of some other songs, and you will hear the all 4 beats are very clear there if you pay attention to them, but they don't call attention to themselves. Another one, falsetto.
Yeah. So what's super cool about this, though, is that when we have all these 4 beats that are similar, so for sure we're going to go and play along with the melody, but if you listen to the quality of the beat, this type of sound will probably call for a different type of the way that you place your steps. Pum, 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 pum. Yeah? So your relationship to the floor can start to really be played around with that. Does that make sense? Perfect.
You want to talk about rhythmic and melodic melody in Poema?
Sure. Go for it. Okay, so Una some time back talked to us about melody, and she gave us an example that really stayed with me. I have a bit of trouble with music, so I need clear examples. So she told us the melody is the thing that you sing in the shower. Everything else is something else. Okay? It's quite melodic, it's flowing up and down. Listen to the shift. I have to shower a bit quicker, but it's still the melody. Does that make sense? But you notice the difference in quality between the first one, which is and then the second part, which is really
back to the first one.
Back to the first one. The kind of horizontal flow that it's calling for, right? So our movements will tend to be a little bit more horizontal. Not as an absolute, but as an exploration. So far, so good? And the relationship to the floor is soft. And now something's going to shift, right? Not yet.
Another phrase.
One more, nice and soft. And what we want to create in tango, it contrasts. Yeah, sorry, the point is?
All 4 beats are there, but she's not going to try to take all the 4 beats without.
Looks a little strange, no? Taking my time, picking it up slowly inside. And ready? Here I'm going to pick up those beats. Yeah, we've got the rhythmic melody coming. So I'm going to try to really create a contrast, because if I keep moving in the same way, it loses a little bit of the value, right? And it starts again. Make sense? Shall we try it out? So we get up, we move in the space, okay? Listen to the beats that are there in the background, pick it up, and then start to see how will you move differently on this kind of melodious melody. Does that make sense? No, forget tango movements for now, okay? It's just a way for your body to start to take the music. And what we want to create is contrast. Does that make sense? We have enough space. Don't worry, Kaya. We'll come back here. We have enough space at the back, no? Okay, we try? Let's get up.
I'll play from the start.
Yeah, a bit louder. Just by ourselves. And take your time, because it's going to pick up later. Take your time. And go. One more. There's a shift again. Let's see the contrast, okay, in your movement. It's continuing. One more phrase. One more section. Wait for it. Pick it up on the inside. Ready? And go. Bring in that contrast. Pa, 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 da, pa, da. And again, think contrast. I don't know if you noticed, but one of the things that generally happens when we're just playing around like this quite naturally is that when there's this melodious melody coming in, okay, your movements tend to be much more horizontal, much more in this direction, okay? Boom, quite a lot of roundedness, and this is something I want you to try out when you work by yourself, because at least in my experience, music, to bring it into the body before I can really bring it into the embrace, into the couple, because we're two there, if I can fill my body with music, then there's much more of a chance we can come together and bring that music in. So what I want to try when I'm working on myself, by myself, I really would like you to play with directions, okay? Let's avoid going just straight when we're moving around. Really try to look at different directions. Make sense? And we have this beautiful horizontal flowing music. We can really turn around, use the length of your steps, okay? And when we go into that melody, let's use the verticality. Try it out. It doesn't mean you have to dance that way all the time, but play around with it so we bring that contrast. So from this kind of a movement, we go into a pa-dum, pa-da-pa-pum, pa-dum, pa-da-pa-pum, pa-dum, pa-da-pa-pum. What this brings in the embrace is a lot more clarity of movement rather than a general direction. Does that make sense? Yeah? So yes, in the melodic melody, both of these were the melody, okay? But one was like and the other was pum, pa-da-pa-pum. So they're both the melody, but it's a very different quality, right? So when you kind of go at this pum, pa-da-pa-pum, we call it a rhythmic melody. I propose you try a vertical, okay, movement just to see what it feels like in the body. Does that make sense? Right now, completely free flow, okay? Don't worry about it.
We started with this because we already talked about this. Most of you were here. And the idea of the horizontal energy and the vertical energy, we are going to use in a different rhythmic space.
Okay, makes sense? Yeah, we're good? You want to try this vertical horizontal for like a little piece of the song? Yeah? Just the beginning where we shift into the...
And then I stop.
And then we go on.
After the second.
The people who are seeing online, please do the exercise. Huh? Don't watch us.
They sometimes here.
Take your time. Use the directions. We can even stretch the time even more now before it picks up. Okay, and vertical. Use the ground, come up. Up, 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 up. And soften it. Nice. We can stop it after this one. All right, nice. Works? Yeah? Okay, when you're playing with this melody, another thing that you can come. What you can play with is, you know, I was telling you to explore different directions. So for example, and when you explore different directions, what's nice is sometimes your body can go one direction followed by your legs, okay? Or sometimes the legs go in one direction followed by the body. Sometimes it's both moving together. Make sense? Because it'll open movements in your dance, whichever role you're dancing.
So that was what I called, is not a technical formal term, neutral 4 beats. The beats are there, but they don't call attention to themselves. As comparing to So this is the D'Arienzo's first recording with Biaggi. Some of you who knows the names. So imagine, and this is the same year as Poema, and the same year as quite a lot of songs. It's the start of a golden age. Let me just play it a little bit to refresh your memory. The same year recording.
Completely different mood, no? You can't place your feet in the same way.
The same year. So imagine when the dancing public, tango was the club music of the time. People who lived in Buenos Aires in those years, they went out and had dinner, meet friends, and dance. It's that kind of thing. It's not something you dress up and prepare for big events, etc. It's their daily life. So imagine they've been dancing to this kind of music for years, and now this guy came. And in a few years, 4 years after, this guy is going even stronger and sharper. So this is, some of you know Natalia and Augustine. They have come to our festival for 2 times. By the way, everybody please come to Auroville for the festival. March, 6th to 10th March next year. So they are coming back again. And they call this kind of music rock and roll. It's like teenage tango, right? Really go for it. It's almost like if you go to some club and this kind of music, you go like. It's very clear.
We're no longer in this kind of mood, no? You can feel it. So that's when it starts to look really ridiculous when dancers dance in the same way as they were on that melodious stuff. Yeah? Make sense? And that's what we would really like to avoid as much as possible, please.
Hmm? Do that 1 and 3, 7 on 1.
Try. Looks a little odd, no? So it doesn't mean you have to absolutely necessarily take every beat, but you're going to bring attention to those beats. Then once in a while you decide to skip, no problem. But then you go back at those beats, yeah? They're not in the background anymore. They're very, very present.
So from that, we are going to another orchestra, Biaggi, has even sharper beat. And about it.
It's nice. It's strong again, but you notice it doesn't have that kind of down energy that the other one had. Not quite. It's like, for me, it's like there's fire on the floor and I have to lift my feet off. That's for me. It doesn't have to be the same for you. But that sensation gives me a different way of dancing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's a different. Absolutely. A different mood, and we're adjusting our movement to the mood. Absolutely. Yeah? And really, the only reason we end up in each other's embraces is because the music is playing, right? Otherwise, there's absolutely no reason to be in your arms for 3 minutes. I mean, I don't particularly know you, I wouldn't do that. Yeah? So, if we come here and do these beautiful embraces and then we go, it's a little sad. Yeah? So you can take your time, fine. Pick it up. But you got to inside at least live it, no? So even if I don't take all the beats, the point is when I take them, I really take them. I choose the beats and I dance them. Yeah? And both roles, because a lot of the time, in the so-called followers role, what happens is that we follow around, and what we want is us to take this music. Yeah? Make sense? Okay.
So, I forgot to show you a slide. I think this is self-explanatory. It's 4 beats, right? So, Marcato in 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what we've been listening to D'Arienzo and Biaggi. And Auroville was right in saying that the beats are there as your options. It doesn't mean that you have to run through the entire thing and take all the beats, because 3 minutes actually is pretty long if you take all the beats. But the beats are there, and you take what you wanted, but you ready. So we will go into. In general, I actually count them. So if you want to, that's just how I do it, because obviously I'm a DJ. So beats per minute, I actually manually count them. I'm counting only the strong beats, by the way. So if you are using a metronome, you will double the lower number, you double it, because I'm not very consistent. So the 100 each number, I'm counting all 4 beats. The 6 each beats, I'm counting only the 1 and 3. Anyway, as long as I understand, it's fine. So if anybody, by the way, any musician in the house, anybody who plays any kind of instruments or any level? Yeah. Okay, cool. So good to know. So beats, okay, since you talk about excellent. Yes. So since you talk about it, beats per minute. Generally, if you count the 1 and 3, that is the easy pace for us generally to work. 260 is sort of an easy working pace. So in general, you will see a lot of tango. The beats per minute will be 60. That is counting 1 and 3. On all 4 beats, that will be 120. If you use a metronome in music, you play it, it will be 120. That's an easy pace. Anything above 60, that will be like D'Arienzo, Biaggi, or early Troilo. That gives the perception of being fast. And slower than 60, if it's slower than like 58, the DJ plays it without really good reason, it's like go to sleep. And like I was saying, when I started out, I counted all 4 beats, and at some point I got tired of counting. I only counted 2 beats.
It's always about the same.
So 60 equals to 120 exactly. It's just that I haven't been consistent in my system. All right. So let's go to something very different. A little bit. I think most of you are familiar with the song. I'm going to count a little bit so you understand it's actually not that different in speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the accent is on the 1 and 3, mostly.
Now this makes sense, yeah? More than... Yeah?
All 4 beats will be here. This part will make sense because it's rhythmic. So here, this kind of music calls for the energy that Auroville was talking about, the horizontal energy. And you use, yeah. Yeah.
Okay? You want to play the differences a little bit? So we play a part of this song, stand up, and then we put a D'Arienzo and a little piece of Biaggi, just to feel the difference. Make sense? Yeah? And the point, like Una was saying, it's not that there's a prescribed way to take the music, at least not the way we understand it. But the point is, sitting and doing these sessions, do we all absolutely need to do it to be able to dance? No. But it's one way of looking at the music Then be able to go home, listen to music a little bit differently, and bring it into the body, because the point is I can choose what I dance. Yeah? And when the music is too full, for me, a lot of the time the music was too full, so I didn't know what I was listening to. And to be able to do these kind of things, start to more and more consciously choose what I'm taking. Make sense? Yeah?
Separate the different audience.
Exactly. Yeah? Shall we try? Let's move around in space a little bit.
So I will play the rest of the song, and I will cut to some other songs. So just move to it and try to see what kind of beat. Is this all 4 beats, or is this slow beat? And try to respond it in your steps and your movement.
Let's go. The ones online also, huh, please. Use different directions, huh? Nice. Drop the shoulders. Catch the differences within that music, huh? It's quite interesting what's happening. Go. Go. Use the space around you, not just forward. Usually in milonga, you don't have a lot of space. So be able to turn on your own. Easy. Soften it. And hold that music inside. Did you notice towards the end there, strong beats, or at least for me, I was taking almost every beat. And then it's something, I would call it softened. I don't think it's a technical term, okay? It's something eased out. So there was still a lot of music on the inside, but suddenly I found myself taking every second beat. Okay? So you can really play with that within the song. Make sense? Yeah?
Another one?
Last one. Change of mood. Drop the hips, relax the shoulders. And see what you feel like taking. Drop the shoulders, relax the hips. Don't tense up.
I'm going to help you.
At ease. And dynamic.
Okay?
It's okay?
Yeah.
Any questions? Anything to say? So far, so good? Yeah? No. Lots of fun. Yeah, I think, I don't know, for me, my world of music in tango really opened up when, at our Wednesday practicas, I started coming and dancing by myself. I looked like an idiot, it's true, but a pretty cool idiot, I think. But I started taking the music differently, because it's one thing to do it at home in your kitchen, but when you have the energy of the practica there, I don't suggest you do it in milonga necessarily, but in practicas at least, okay? Once in a while. And if possible, not self-consciously, because when we think tango, unfortunately, a lot of the time our body tenses up and we start doing these funny things with the posture that's not ours. So into our body and see how it takes the music, okay? Try it out. And then when that comes into the dance, into the embrace, once you understand spaces in there, it's so beautiful. For me, it opened a world. It like unlocked something, but because I was dancing by myself. Because with another person, there's another world there also. It's a lot. Yeah?
Okay. And we will talk about a little bit about other kind of marcato in 2 with some different quality. Let me just review this.
Move with it if you like, huh?
No. And let's hear this. What's the difference?
Huh.
One, three, 1, 3. Can you feel the beats are longer? It's like something is dragged out. That we call the arrastre. Arrastre is a Spanish word for drag, right? Dragging. So let's pay attention again to the 1 and 3. The notes are, musically, is, sometimes it's a broken chord on piano, or it's the double bass doing a long bow and speed up at the start. It feels longer. It's like something is very heavy, very hard to move.
In the dance, it creates a boom, boom, boom. You can hear it?
Doom, 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 doom.
So how do we move to that? Try it out in your body. All soft, enjoy it.
And here's come.
And go. For me, one of these, the other day when Una was looking through the material and she showed me what she was going to bring today, she asked me, how would you take this? And I had no idea. So I tried it. I stood up and I tried. You know, earlier I was asking you to really try to move in terms of space, in terms of direction. I find it on this type of music, the moment there's this arrastre, this woo, woo, personally, I'm much more led to walk. Because it's difficult, I mean, to bring that woof in a turn, it's like woof. It's quite a lot. So what do I tend to do is like woof, 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 woof. And it's like the intent of, I'm not trying to reach a beat or land on a beat. I'm using that first beat, that woof, to push off. So this is my direction, and I'm going to go woof. Does that make sense? Rather than trying to thumb, pum, pum, woof. Yeah? It's like there's some wind behind, goes woof. And the attention is really not on the landing for me, but on the woof, woof, on the pushing off. Does that make sense? It's like if the music is taken between my 2 feet. It's taken from when I'm leaving this one to when I'm landing on this one, instead of trying to step on it. Try it out, play around with it. It came to me a couple days ago, so tomorrow I might tell you something different, but this is what came. Yeah?
Yeah, I want to come in here. So, earlier we sent a feedback form, and also after both boot camp, we had some survey. So some of you here also filled in the form saying, oh, those musicality thing is great, but how do I dance to it? We're like, no idea. Like, the idea is that if you understand music better, you know all those elements you can use, and then how to use them, musicality is very personal. What she says, she will say one thing today, and she will tell you another thing tomorrow. I will tell you another thing tomorrow, and this, how to take it is very personal. So the idea about all those things that we do here, you understand it, you pick up all those different elements, and you express them in your personal way. So it's not like, we are not telling you to do this way, to do that this way, that way, even though we will suggest a few things that make sense to us. Okay?
But the point is, to be able to find, like Una is saying, each our own way, we need to work on it.
Yeah.
Right? Till the natural aspect comes in, because whenever we learn a new skill, it's a little bit external to us until it comes from within. Does that make sense? Strangely? Yes? Okay.
And about this last tracing, the drag, I will play another song because this is actually a very common element in music. But I'm assuming that a lot of us are not very aware of the different quality of beats. Earlier, Orvan was talking about, Marcato in 4, we have the d'Arienzo, we have the sharper di Biaggi. There are actually a lot of other things that I could show you some other time. And every orchestra has their different qualities, and it shows in the rhythmic bass very clearly. I can tell the orchestra by rhythmic bass most of the time, just the different quality of the beat. And this works in those cha-cha-cha-cha music. It also works in this kind of music. So I'm going to play just the start of another Di Sarli also. Listen to the 1. The super strong drag. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3.
Try it. Move in space.
2, 3. Use the 1. It's so strong. Here it comes.
So in these in-between parts, play around. Nice and soft.
Okay, because we actually need to get to syncopation at some point, so I'm cutting it, but I'm playing another song that some of you know. It's a much later song. It has this soft but super strong drag. Listen to the beat.
It's like walking in melted butter, but with a dragging foot.
The melody is so soft, but the rhythmic bass has this super strong drag.
Imagine yourself in an embrace when you do this. What happens inside? Try out something. Stand on the spot and just hold the music inside. See what happens. Stand on the spot. Just change weight if you need to.
Okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
So for me, some of this softer music, it directly pours me into the embrace because there's such a yummy quality to it. And then below there's a zoom. Zoom. So before I can get to the zoom, I need to go. But it doesn't mean that you just embrace your partner and stand there waiting for the zoom, right? You got to fill it with music.
It's a drama between you and another.
Perhaps for me it's too sweet for a drama, but each one their own.
The drama has the gentle.
Oh, the gentle drama. It's a gentle drama.
And then it gets passionate. and it calms down.
Exactly. So play with that in the embrace, really, because the quality of the embrace changes so much. Make sense? Yeah?
And one last thing about Marcato in 2. I'm going to play a song that most of you recognize, and I'll explain. This is the famous Rumba, Pugliese, of course. Okay. So it's 2. It's 1, 2, 1, 2, Rumba, Rumba. Rumba is a made-up word. It's an onomatopoeia. So it has that. So how it works is the first one, the drags 1 is so strong, and the 2 is like very light. Rumba, Rumba. Okay, let's hear it and let's see how we move to it.
Let it build up in you. Wait for it. Go. Pay attention to the size of step also that the music might suggest. Yeah? Sometimes when you have these little in between, for me, yeah? Again, absolutely not a must. But why not create the contrasts? Okay? Not as an absolute, but to try to push our limits a little bit with the contrasts and then find our way within it. Make sense? Syncopation?
Yeah. But to follow up on the contrast, you know, we sometimes, especially when we're new to tango, we don't really hear that much in tango music. We think Di-Sali is soft and nice, but we already talked about this before. I'm going to just briefly mention it. Even in a seemingly soft and melodic song, there is always contrast because dancers need something to work on, no? So, melodic. There is always contrast. In the strongest D'Arienzo, there will be contrast also. For example, just find it. And we are going to work on this very soon. This is Mandria, the same song that we heard before. Yeah, and listen to this part. Yeah, the point is in every song, even the rock and roll song like this, there is a melodic passage. And in the softest music, there will be rhythmic passage. So it depends, if you can hear all those things, there are so many options there.
And it's, I mean, hearing all those things might sound a bit overwhelming, okay? So if I'm looking for contrast in a very melodic music, I'll try to pay attention to when it starts to be ta-ta-ta-ta, a little rhythmical. And the rest, I'm going to dance it completely at ease. But the moment I have my ear tuned to when it becomes something else. And I try to catch that. Make sense? And both roles, because sure, you could say the so-called lead might actually take the movements, right? But the way I take the step as a so-called follow changes the music. I mean, can change according to the music a lot. Make sense? And when we've got these very thump, pum, 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 pum kind of tangos, there's a part of me that's tuned to that softer little something. So when it becomes soft, I'm not running around anymore. Oh, few seconds here and pa-da-pa-pa-dum. Make sense?
Okay, guys, we can gather around a little bit. We are going to sit for a little bit. And we are getting into syncopation, finally. Before that, a quick review. Just listen to I'm going to play just 2 phrases of this song. What kind of rhythmic bass is this? 2 or 4? 4. Yeah, 4, okay. And if you can see the screen, you will see the title is the same. It's the same song. The emphasis is on 04 or 2? 2. Yeah, so, by the way, earlier somebody asked me, I think there were 2 sessions before, why we care about orchestras, not composers. Because these are the same songs. Obviously, it was done by the same composer. tango is popular music, it's not classical music. In the sense that a composer composes a song and everybody has their version, a cover of it. And like the first version is D'Arienzo, the second one is Di Sarli. They are completely different. So that's why we care more about orchestra, not who composed the song. And finally, syncopation. Let's just hear this. How do you feel? It's like a lot of things are jumping around, right?
Yeah. The same thing comes in the Hotel California last year.
Okay.
Yes.
So this jumping around thing, like, it's because it's syncopated. But here is the kicker. In this part, the melody is jumping around. The melody is syncopated, but the rhythmic bass actually is marcato in 4, very regular. I just want to play this version so you have a feeling of what is syncopation. And then we are going to talk about the syncopation in rhythmic bass. I'm going to play this just briefly again. You have feel it, the jumping around syncopated melody, and if you can, pay attention to the rhythmic bass. It's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we are going to talk about jumping around rhythmic bass. Okay, so what is syncopation in the rhythmic bass that I've been saying that we will talk about today? Okay, I'm going to play a passage from Mandria, the same thing that we have heard before. Let's just listen to this and pay attention toward the end. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here. Did you hear that? There is something that jumps. I'm going to play just that part again. This is a classic, one of the most common rhythmic bass. I'm going to just play that bar. It's just one bar that has sorry, this is the second one. Okay, so that's one. I'm going to randomly play a few different syncopations so you have a feeling of that. And then I'm going to talk about the mass of it. Okay? Different one.
Okay, so
Yeah?
I have a question. So, if the bass is 4, but you make like some accents.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about it.
Is this is the meaning of syncopation?
I will talk about it. Right. So, as I understand it, and syncopation, what does it mean, syncopation? So we already talked about tango. In general, it's 4/4. In terms of time major, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you can also count it as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Same thing, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And we already talked about marcato in 4, all 4 beats equally strong. Marcato in 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, right? So what is syncopation? Syncopation is when the accent is between the beats, is on the end. That's syncopation. That gives us that jumpy feeling. So just for the heck of it, I'm going to try a few different sort of the mathematical timing of syncopation. And let's see if, let me know if it makes sense. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 3. 1 and 3. 1 and 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4. 1 and 3 and 1 and 3 and 1 and 3. 1 and 3, 4. 1, 3 and 1, 3 and 1 and 3, 4. I just checked out a few songs and I figured out some of the common syncopation. Can you? The idea is to tell you that there is a math behind this jumping thingy, and it comes. End of the day, it's just the combination of where you put the accents on the end. It's honestly not that important. You learn to count the syncopation. It's just give you an idea of how those accent comes from. The accent could fall on basically pretty much any of the ends, and then there's a combination of them.
Does that make sense? Yeah, it doesn't mean that you have to go full proper geeky mode like Una. You can. It's a lot of fun for her. But one of the things that we do want is to figure out, okay, how does that translate in my body, right? So I definitely don't know if it's a 1 and 3 or a 1, 2, and I'm already lost, okay? But the point is, how is the body going to I don't know which one that is, but it's something. Yeah?
And we are going
okay,
to...
It felt like,
yeah, we are going
sorry.
there. Sorry. So, just, okay. So we already heard this in this Marcato in 4 rock and roll music. And let's just hear syncopation in the softer music. Now, we just heard nada. I'm going to play just a part of the first phrase, the first section. Here. It's going to repeat again. You heard it? So even in this kind of softer, more melodic music, the rhythmic bass is still doing a lot of things. Okay? And so now it's the exercise. This is the Biaggi song again, and this is one of the most common syncopation, that is 1 and 3. 2, 3, 4. 1 and 3. For this, actually, you can sort of try to count because it's really common. It's like half the syncopation are like this. I'm going to just play the syncopation part and see if you can sort of work it out in your mind where the timing is. And it goes back to 4, 2, 3, 4.
And again.
1 and 3. 1 and 3. 1 and 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, your part. How do we dance to it?
Let's try.
Yeah.
See? What does it mean? Pass the ball? No, see, I mean, how do you dance to it? I don't know. It's in the beat. I mean, it's in the beat. It's in the bass, right? So, pa-pum, pa-rum, pa-pum, pa-rum, pum-pum, pa-rum. A few classes ago, in several classes, I think in 2 or 3 classes, we worked on the rebote. That's another way to take it. It's not my favorite way at all, but pum-pum, pa-rum, pum-pum, pa-rum, pum-pum, pa-rum. I find it more tricky in a certain way. Or, I don't know. I love to play with it, me. Pum-pum, pa-rum. So every time I take a step, my foot is not allowed to come back in the same spot. That's how I like to take it, okay? But you can play with it. Pum-pum, pa-rum, pum-pum, pa-rum. Also works, right? Or pum-pum, pa-rum, pum-pum, pa-rum. Make sense?
Yeah. The point is, if you want to really use the music, and if this kind of music, and if you just step on the 1 and 3 or even all 4 beats, let's see how it looks. 1.
Looks like we're missing something.
1, 3, 1, 3. We're not using the music at all. Okay, 1, 2. I'm doing 4.
Okay, I missed one at the end, but
You can see that I'm sleepwalking or something, right? I'm not really responding to what the music is offering me. So
does that make sense? Yeah? And I think that's part of, in the last few classes we talked quite a bit, and especially with the so-called followers, about being prepared to any kind of shift in movement. Because the way we take the music as a so-called lead or so-called follow, in my experience, is a little bit different. In the sense, because the lead has the possibility of choosing the direction of the dance, which we as so-called follows are not able to do, they're able to take the music in this way, for example, pam pam pararam, okay? And their challenge is to communicate that partner as well so that they can both do it. To be able to do this, for me, the moment needs to be more precise, more speeding up, more of a drop. I drop is the first thing. And I'm going to go pam pam pararam. I'm going to use the verticality. I find it easier than doing this. Pam pam pararam in terms of the communication as a so-called lead. Make sense? But as a so-called follow, what it means to me, I may know the music, I may not know the music. Regardless, what I would like is that my body is prepared to, when something comes musically, it can tackle it. Does that make sense? I think if you're out, partying or something, and there's the regular beat, you'll get that. And once in a while, you get that little extra. That's not part of the usual thing. And it'll be such a, right? That's what we want constantly in tango. So we're dancing, and whether it's a kind of complete shift in the direction of the dance or a shift in the approach to the music. If you know the music, it's so familiar, you'll know it's coming. So maybe your so-called lead will be pam, param, pararam, param, pararam, and I'll be able to do param, pararam, param, pararam, also possible. Okay? So regardless of how well we know our tango music, the idea is to start having it inside the body. Make sense? So get up and try.
Yeah. And tango music is kind. Even Biaggi is not completely unkind. See, there are 3 syncopations successively. You miss the first one, you can take the next one, and then the section is going to repeat itself. So there are 3 into 2 syncopation in one section. Actually, 2 phrases, doesn't matter. So let's try to pay attention to the end and try to catch that of beat. One last time.
Again. So one thing, guys, when we're trying to catch the music, I really want you to pay attention to this. The more we try to catch music, especially if it goes quicker or we're afraid of missing it, generally what tends to happen in our body is this ta-ran, ta-ra-ran, ta-ran, ta-ra-ran, and then it's very difficult to, number one, catch the music, it. So what we want every time the music speeds up or you're really looking for something, it's ta-ran, ta-ra-ran. Okay, on the inside. You're very light on your feet, but the body is relaxed. You cannot do anything with tension in the body. Does that make sense? Yes? So, param, pararam, param, pararam. Yeah? Okay.
Okay.
Next.
Now we'll talk about a different kind of syncopation. Syncopation without the ground. Guys, please come back a little bit. Yeah. We are going to watch the screen, look at the screen a little bit. So for this kind of, the first one that we've been working at, sorry. 1 and 3 are the strong beats. So this particular one is 1 and 3. 1 and 3. The strong beats, the 1 is there. So what, if you want to catch the music, you generally dance the 1 and you dance the N. Dun 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 dun. This is what we call syncopa a tierra. It just means syncopation on the ground.
And the ground in this case would be R1.
And
yeah,
3.
it's the grounding element. Make sense?
Okay. And now I'm going to just play you some other kind of syncopation and see if you can make out what it is. I will start a little bit early so you have a chance to establish the bass. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come in. I'm looping just the syncopation parts and see how you feel and how it is different from the previous one we just heard.
So earlier we had pa pum pa pa pum, yeah? It feels like something's missing, no? For me, it feels like something's missing. Yeah, something is cut. Any idea what is cut? Un ocho.
Right?
What did you say?
So,
a note is cut. Which one? Something is cut. A note, a beat?
It's like a pause.
yeah.
Pum, pum, pum.
Okay. So this is called syncopa arriba. Arriba means up in Spanish. Arriba. Something up. So what it is it's missing the ground, the first one. So what I just played is 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3. And 3. Can you figure it out? 2, 3. Instead of 1 and 3. 1 and 3. This one is and 3. And 3. The 1 is missing. Can you figure out? And 3. And 3.
Well, it's not missing, it's just paused. It's like there's a moment of freeze for the sound.
It feels that the N is late because you are expecting the 1, because we always expect the 1. The 1 is almost always there. And now in this case, it's missing.
Yeah. And so you're right, in the dance it translates like a pause, but it's a funny pause because usually you completely expect it, so you're ready to put your foot down and you're like, ah, okay? If you take it, this is what happens. Half the time you'll miss it.
Imagine you're walking, you're about to step at the right
Exactly,
step,
like the stairs is missing somehow.
You have to avoid it.
Exactly, so, oh, boom, oh,
It's playful.
So all the different variations of ground syncopation, the 1 and 3 are always there. And in air syncopation, the 1 is missing. And the N, the rest it goes to the offbeat. That's why there is like a sudden what heck is happening feeling, because it goes directly to the offbeat. I'm going to do that again, and then we listen to that, and you see if you can sort of jam the two together. And 3, and 3, and 3. Sorry, and 3, and 3. It's possible you can put another one. And 3. And 3. Okay, I'm going to play this part again, and you hear it, and then stand up and try to see how you will respond to music, and we are going to talk about it. Stand up. not enough time. But so if I were to pretend this one is ground syncopation, the one is there, I'm going to move like this. Again. It looks a little bit funny, huh? And I also feel a little bit funny because I'm stepping on the one which is not there. So I know this is getting a little bit funny, but for me, the only way to take, probably not the only way, but the only way I can think of to take this kind of syncopation is you directly go to the end. You miss the one because the one is not playing the music. So what I will do will be...
That's what I was about to say. When you were marking with your hand, you're actually marking a beat which is not there.
Yeah, it's not and 3 because I have to, this is the big beat. Yeah. This is not the rhythmic beat, this is the beat. I have to do it, otherwise how would I randomly say and 3 and 3, yeah. You know, there's no major.
But in the music it's not there.
It's not there. No, it's not there at all. It's in what I'm calling out, and 3. So what I will do, okay.
So in those, right now, to be able to catch this and to train, I will most likely miss it in the dance, okay? As of now. The point is to be able to play with it, to know what is there in our imagination, okay? And then we'll see if it comes out in the dance, it comes out in the dance. Otherwise, we'll play around differently. But the point is here, if we want to catch that, we don't listen to anything else at that moment in the music. Does that make sense? His voice is going in a certain direction, but we're going pa-dum, 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 pa-dum. Yeah?
Air syncopation is surprising, it's difficult to catch. I miss it majority of the time. I knew it's coming. I would know when I'm dancing socially. I know it's coming in the next few bars and I almost always miss it. The point is not, it's not exam. You know it's there and you train your body to recognize it and then you respond to it in whichever way you can. And we are going to talk about something really interesting with this concept. But for now, just try a few times, see if you can feel where the end is coming. And because the one is not there, you have to, if you want to dance to this particular pattern, and 3, and 3. Try a few times, and then we come back to talk about ground syncopation.
Even if for now it's just your heart, I mean, in the social dance, it's just your heart that goes, oh, it's already a good sign.
Yeah, you miss a beat, because a beat is missing, so you miss a beat. That's congratulations. One last time. Okay. We are approaching.
It also means that between the two beats which are marked by the music, there is not a regular cadencia anymore. Yeah? Like if you do 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 1. It's the same space there. Then you're in the half here to the 3, so you have 3 quarters. Yeah.
Mathematically.
Yeah. It's not the.
It's different. Yeah, you are right. It's unequal. It's doom, 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 doom. So the length is unequal. By the way, we are approaching 8. You guys are okay to stay for another, if possible, 15 to 20 minutes? I still have quite a few things.
And if you need to leave, just
by all means, yes.
Wave and
yeah. And, Okay, so that was air syncopation. It's a tricky thing, and also generally it's not well. That song repeated 2 or 3 times. That was the longest I can find. Usually, the Troilo or whoever just throw you 1 or 2 in the middle of nowhere. If you don't know the song, there's no chance you can catch it. So
however, because we are friendly and we don't like to say things are very difficult, the next syncopation, we can start to play with it so as to be able to later take the air syncopation.
Yes.
Which is very nice.
So
okay?
How is the syncopation in air
It's
Almost always, except for the early, the 30s, the late 20s extended songs, not always, but mostly. At least in the golden period, almost always. I will let you know if I find a song without syncopation after 35. Before 35, all the time. Okay, so we talk about ground syncopation, and we talk about air syncopation, and I personally find this very interesting. You can dance ground syncopation with the technique of air syncopation. Ta-da! It will look like this. Okay, that's the first one. This is a do-dong, do-dong, right? Okay. Again, can you?
I'll dance the ground, she'll dance the air. One more time?
Yeah.
Okay?
Could you figure out what I was trying to do?
What?
So instead of da 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 da, I was going for da 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 da.
So she was ignoring the one.
Yeah.
Yeah? Though it was clearly there in the music, but again, you can choose what you take in the music.
You can like just feel it in your body, so it's that one.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I find this, first of all, it's interesting, and secondly, it's useful. She was talking about how as a follower, so-called follower, how we take the music. The leader has the prerogative to, decide, okay, I want to take this much music in one step or two steps. As a followers, we cannot do it. But this is super cool in that it's quite possible to take my music, to choose my timing, without disturbing the leader. So, okay, I'm going to play it a few times. How I will, if I'm having a good day, try to do. No, it's too loud. So the guy I'm dancing with is just steady on the 1 and 3. 1, 3. Can you see? Again?
It looks like a little bit of a rush. She brings in that.
1, 3.
And that's something really lovely to play in with the embrace, because as a so-called lead, what you feel is like she's there, she's with you, but there's like a slight delay, so her body has gone with you, and then her legs, a little delay, so tasty, okay? But it doesn't stop the direction at all.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm not holding onto my leader, say, don't go now. I'm letting him go, and I choose my timing. And the beauty of this thing is because, it's 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. It's the same thing. You end up on the same leg. You don't somehow end up in the different legs.
In a different way, it's like she's reaching on the 1, but she's dropping on the and, okay? She's landing on the and. So she's reached with the partner. Yeah?
Yeah, I play with this in the milongas, and when I know the syncopation is coming, I try to take the end. For me, it's just fun. Make a little bit sense? All right.
Last thing, no?
Yeah, last thing about syncopation, I don't think we'll get into the other rhythmic pattern. Drag syncopation. I'm going to play you something, and
You remember the drag from before?
I'll play the drag. Yeah.
Yeah?
The drag is this thing, Auroville. Sorry. Okay, so what is a drag syncopation?
Can you hear that? Ta, 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 ta. But because the first ta is not really a ta, it's a ra, ta, ta, ta.
So in theory, what I just play is just zoom, 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 zoom. One, zoom, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Zoom and 3. Zoom and 3. That's what the pattern I was playing. Can you understand now? And if you actually hear it very clearly, or you have perfect sense of timing, the zoom thing starts a little before the actually a kind of anticipated syncopation, which we are not going to now. So it's like zoom and 3, zoom and 3. It's technically sort of a ground syncopation because you can 1 and 3. But I'm going to try to dance this like the regular ground syncopation, and you will see how weird it is. 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 1 and 3. It's strange, right? It doesn't, in terms of timing, I'm right. But in terms of the feeling, it's really strange.
Because she's not paying attention to which is the loudest thing, right?
I'm directly taking the 1, which is a broken chord, not a clear note. So, yeah. So how do we take this?
How would you try? Try it out.
Any idea?
What happened in your body? You drag your feet.
Sort of, yes. Obviously, there are different ways to take it. For me, I feel the drum is heavy. It's like something you are trying to move something heavy. And the end is, so what I would try to do is drag out the 1 and then land on the end. So I basically am using more or less air syncopation. I'm directly landing on the end. But I try, and I'm still trying to figure out how exactly to do it, but I've seen really good dancers do it. The 1 is like somebody is pulling from behind you, that you are going to be late. But somehow you manage to land just right on the end. That's one way to do it. I'm trying to do that. So, yeah, because it really doesn't make sense to have a dum dum, dum, dum dum, dum.
Yeah, then we missed the whoom.
Yeah.
So I like to, I didn't even know this stuff was happening until Una talked to me about it. Yeah, so it's new material. It's cool because it just makes the mind go tuk 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 tuk. Okay, how much will it change my dance on Wednesday itself? Probably not much. But the point is when I go home and start listening to tango music, I listen to it a bit differently. Yeah, and that in itself is a bit of a joy because you're rediscovering something that you've known for many years, for some of us, right? And so just in the same way as I would use that drag earlier, for me it's really this image that I take the space between this point and that point to dance it. Vroom, vroom. So here if I do the same thing, it so happens that I land on the end, okay? Because yeah, makes sense? I use that same technique, way of moving because it's what seems most natural to me. Make sense? Yeah? So play around with it a bit.
Yeah. And also drag syncopation, it's a very common element in tango music. But I'm pretty sure that a lot of our experienced dancers are not, mathematically or academically aware of this. But as dancers, if you pay attention to music, you pick up these things through the years. Like, oh, I never knew the term or whatever, but she does it. She just didn't know what she was doing, but she does it. My point, I already talked about this earlier. I don't want to wait for another 5 or 10 years. I want it now or next month. So I study these kind of things. For me, it's a shortcut. you understand how it works, and then you don't have to wait for another at least 2-3 years when you become more experienced, and somehow you learn it from the floor somewhere. That's my approach to musicality. And also it's fun for me.
Part of the idea is when you're thinking about all this, not on the floor, please. You go home, you think about it, you dance in your kitchen, sometimes you're sitting in the practica instead of getting bored. Oh, nobody's inviting me, oh, poor me. Oh, no, you sit there and you enjoy the music. You start listening to all of the things that happen in the music. Yeah, that's what's going to, Una is right, that's what makes us grow a lot faster. Okay? When you're dancing, it's like embrace whatever music you've got inside, whatever your body is, whatever music has already translated in your body, that's what you dance with. Then you go back home and you start. Yes? Yes?
Yeah. And just to close off this drag syncopation thing, I'll just play the once or twice. It's another song, and it starts with the light beat, and then this drag element comes in. I personally really love this passage for, it's music, so it's subjective. So if you can recognize these kind of things, then there are a lot of opportunities for you. And yeah, so I'll just play it once or twice. The same melody, but this time with the drag.
Do you see how her step gets bigger? So somehow, this is what's interesting, is when you start listening to different aspects of the music, the way you move changes. So did Una think that she wanted to make a bigger step? Probably not. But the result, for us watching her, and in the dance and the embrace would be the same thing. We see a much larger step because she hears the vroom and she's paying attention to it. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Feeling the flow instead of choosing.
Could be. Yes, that's one way of putting it. Yeah. Feeling the flow instead of choosing it. But it's also, I would prioritize, see, a lot of the time, when we're trying to study tango, tango is a dance that can be just danced, okay? It's a social dance. Now, many of us, if we want to grow, yes, a little faster or get into the subtleties of tango, we are going to need to a little bit study, okay? For many of us. Some, it'll come completely naturally, and that's a gift then, okay? But when I'm studying, different people will have different approaches, right? For some people, it'll really be this thing of standing on one spot and learning how to manage their balance, etc., okay? For others, it'll be the music, the bass. Does that make sense? So for me, if I practice without music in front of the mirror, I have no balance. And it's really difficult to take dynamic steps because I don't in my everyday life. The music starts, okay, and something like this happens, vroom, vroom, vroom. I take bigger steps than I think I'm capable of. Does that make sense? Because that is my base. That is what I work with. This is what I build my so-called technique on something. Yes? And this exploration of music, like at the boot camp, we worked on the call and answer, what we call this kind of call and answer, and just exploring the technical aspect of the music with Una, I ended up discovering things about the spaces within the dance. Because to be able to do that and translate it in both roles, I had to figure it out. Make sense? So use it however it is useful, if it is. That is my point. Kind of long to make a point, but.
If you can indulge me for just 2 minutes, I will end. I prepare other materials about the rhythmic patterns of work, which apparently I cannot spell. I will just talk about one of them. And because you guys, whoever were here for the bootcamp, already heard it 50 times. This song that we have done today, and there's one syncopation. Now you know what the syncopation is. I'm playing the song we use for the bootcamp, the call and answer thing. There's one syncopation, only one in the entire song, which is in the first section. And then after that, there's something funny. So just try to listen to it. Very regular. Syncopation coming up. syncopation, dun dun. And the end of the section, and you won't all remember for sure that this happens at the end of each section in this particular song. The dum 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 dum. What is it? It's just 1, 2, 3, 4. The accents generally are on 1 and 3. And in this particular case, the accents are on the 2 and 4. So it's so surprising. That's it.
So the music is super regular in terms of the rhythmic bass, yeah?
It drops the 1 and 3 as well. The 1 and the 3 are not there.
No, it's very last. It's there. I'll play just that section again. The 1 and 3 are there, but the accents are on the 2 and 4. I'll play from the syncopation.
So listen to the syncopation, just one.
1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear it? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Can you call out the syncopation and then the 1, 2, I mean,
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4.
The syncopation, yeah. Play a little bit earlier. Dun 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 dun. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it goes on marcato in 4 for the entire scene. I wouldn't even call it marcato in 4 because it doesn't call attention to themselves. But it's 4 beats. Got it? And just so that we can end with Orville's favorite orchestra, I'm going to just one small thing about the strange rhythmic pattern. Where is it? Okay. So what we did just now is the opposite. Accents on 2 and 4. And sometimes they are random accents. I'm playing just a little part of Biaggi in one song. And see if you can figure out which beat he's emphasizing on. 2, 3.
So something like this, I'm sorry, but something like this, if you're dancing on 1 and 3, you really look stupid. Okay? So where's that, did you hear the pum? And you're out of nowhere? Where did it come from?
I'll count it, I'll play it lower, I'll count it for you, you'll see where it comes from. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes on. Got it? It's just Biaggi likes to play around with people.
Yeah, so it means that I love this orchestra, so for me, people don't play it often enough, but I can understand why, yeah? But the point is, if you happen to be caught on the floor, I don't know the names of the orchestras, I'm terrible at that, really. But I hear something like this, I'm like, oh, I want to get up and dance, I want to try it out, I want to play with it. Does that make sense? But if you take yourself too seriously on something like this,
Syncopation as well?
Yeah.
The beats and he plays one which is not normally.
I will not call that 2-4 thing. Thank you, Manish, for we have a few audience for the question. I will not call it a syncopation because for me, technical definition of syncopation, if I understand correctly, which I'm not 100% sure of, is that the accent is on offbeat. So if it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, I wouldn't call this syncopation. But it is a rhythmic pattern that has a particular name. Yeah. Yeah, it's on the one of the square thing. It's on the weak beats. 4 is the weak beats, but still, it's a it's a main beat. So I will not call this syncopation, but who cares, honestly? It's not important, the technical. It's a surprising rhythmic pattern that ideally you learn to recognize it and you dance it.
and you play with it, yeah.
Yeah. And now, this is some other random stuff that we can talk about next time that it will be fun to look at. But and then obviously other than this, there are some other rhythmic patterns, but it's not important the academic terms of those things. It's that you understand, you develop your sensibility to music, And obviously, if you really want to, you play around with this music and you analyze it. It's actually a lot of fun. I love the stuff.
So, Rajiv, can you show the screen? Because this is pretty cool for the geeks who are online. This is Una's pastime.
And habanera is the base of the...
Habanera is the, okay. So we can finish the session, but if you guys really want to know what habanera is, I'm happy to tell you, okay? It's the same of the milonga rhythm. It's the milonga rhythm. But is there any question that's for Orban or me about what we talk about today?
No? Anything online, Una?
Manish already asked a question, and one of the top most useful. Don't understand the other one. I think it's something Hindi. Sorry.
Manish, the good way of syncopating, yeah.
Anybody has any other questions? Then thank you today.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, and we will keep doing these kind of sessions. And this is a bold. Thank you, everyone, for giving me this platform. I mean, it's something interesting. And I'm a much younger dancer, anyways. But still, I have never. And from what we heard from other people is nobody really does this kind of things here in India. It's just a lot of fun for me. And like I was saying, I personally feel, first of all, it's fun and it helps, at least I hope it helps me grow faster. Yeah. Because you understand the theory and then, it's a shortcut to develop your dance.
Let's go sleep. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rajiv, and
thank you so much.
Auroville Radio for bringing us to life. And thank you. And